Salve et Ave. Today is the intermediary day, the second day, for the 3-day-long festival known as Lucaria here in Sandus. To the ancient Romans, this festival was obscure even by the late Roman era. For us, however, this festival provides greater opportunity and greater hope that someday we may achieve some sort of self-sufficiency. Recently, we have commenced the operation and production of the Tellus Agrarian Cooperative, a new cooperative here in the state of Sandus, which hopes to reduce our reliance on foreign powers and specifically on our greater macronation that surrounds us, the United States. Tellus opens to us great new opportunities of creating foodstuffs which can alleviate this reliance, but also can have great social and health impacts for the state of Sandus. For us, this Tellus Agrarian Cooperative is one which we are very excited to commence. And this festival, which to the ancient Romans would have celebrated a grove, a sacred grove, in the city of Rome on the south slope of the Janiculum, it represents for us instead the grove and the sacred grove of the Tellus Agrarian Cooperative. We will be reciting a rite specifically meant for creating such groves and consecrating fields. So this festival, instead for Sandus, will be one to reconsecrate fields for us. And of course, this is a cultural practice, not done by Tellus, but done instead by the Collegio Sacerdae. For us, this cultural and social example is one which strengthens the importance of realism. Tellus is a realistic example of what our state can be doing to better itself, to improve the welfare of the Sandum sovereign people. And even though this rite today is not similar to that of the ancient Romans, and even though some may argue that this rite has no place in the state policy of the state of Sandus, this cultural example, perpetuated by the Collegio Sacerdae and done in my authority as Sacra Flameno of the Collegio Sacerdae, is a great example of what Sandus is attempting to do, creating a realistic and beneficial state for all Sandum people, no matter what they believe, whom they believe in, and whatever they follow. This festival will be one of great importance for us, and I am glad that you can join us today in celebrating this first Lucaria. Thank you. With the gods being favorable, each thing may turn out well. I pray that I may be entrusted as supplicant to the genius loci of this land to lead or to carry out this sacred boundary around the estate, the field, and this land, outside as large an area as one may require to purify. The altar is ready. I speak before of Janus and Zeus. I pray to you and solemnly ask, be fortunate to me in my work. Father Mars and Mother Demeter, I pray to you and ask of you that you may be favorable and gracious to me, to the house, and to our household, for the sake of which I have ordered myself a supplicant to lead around the field, the land, and this estate, in order that you may prevent, repel, and divert seen and unseen diseases, deprivation and desolation, misfortunes and extremes, and in order that you may allow the fruits, the grain, the vineyards, and the orchards to grow, and to turn out well, and that you may keep well the shepherds and cattle, and give good health and well-being to me, to the household, and to the house. For the sake of these things, for the sake of the purifying of the estate, the land and my field, and the making pure, as I have said, may you be honored by the sacrificing of these humble offerings. In the same way, may I perpetuate the goodness of your giving. And for the sake of this prayer, may you be honored by the sacrificing of these humble offerings. Father Mars and Mother Demeter, if something in this humble ceremony was not pleasing to you, please accept this humble water to you as atonement. May everything be auspicious and fortunate. Quod bonum fostum felix fortunatum salutarique sit mihi Gaius sorgo ac nationi sandae ita est. Illicit. It is finished. What you have just witnessed is the rite to the gods on this Lucaria for the thanksgiving and for their fortunate well-being of this lucus. A lucus is Latin for a sacred grove, and this rite has just created that this Palaso de Dato, the palace of state, will be a grove fortunate enough to be able to grow produce for Tellus and for the state of Sandus. The next rite we will witness is the rite to the ability to work the land. It is literally entitled the rite for working land. And it is more focused towards the genius loci of this sacred space. A genius loci, a genius at all, is the divine spirit of an individual, of a place, an object, a thing. It is the divine spirit, the divine nature of everything. And specifically, this genius loci is invoked by the words si deus, si dea, if God or goddess. And it truly doesn't matter which. In this rite, an invocation is made to the genius loci for them to arrive here, and so that we may be fortunate enough to work the land to their acceptance, and so that the produce may grow auspiciously and fortunately. So we hope you will join us now in watching this rite. Thank you. Be you God, or be you goddess, to whom this place is sacred, as it is right to offer for atonement to you an offering for the working of this sacred place, on account of these things, whether I or whether one ordered by me offered it, in order that it may be done rightfully, or for the sake of this work, I pray good prayers to you for the sacrificing of this offering for atonement, that you may be favorable and gracious to me, to my family and house, to my children. For the sake of these things, be honored by the sacrificing of the offering for atonement. Gratias, genius loci. The rite you have just witnessed is the rite to the genius loci for the ability for us to work this lucus, this sacred grove, that is now known to us as the Palaso de Dato. This sacred grove has just been set forth as a sacred grove. In the previous rite, the rite to Mother Demeter and to Father Mars for the Lucaria, and for the rite to purify land. This Collegio Sacerdae festival of the Lucaria is specifically made so that Tellus can work and operate this land for the production of produce, which will help the state of Sandus. I will, as Sacra Flameno of the Collegio Sacerdae, be taking a walk, and specifically in the first rite, you might have heard that I ordered myself, this supplicant, to walk around the boundary of the lucus. We actually have a map which we set forth on the altar. This map essentially shows the boundary of this new lucus. It is roughly rectangular. Nonetheless, even though this map essentially sets forth the boundary, I will be walking around the boundary so that it will be secure. To the ancient Romans, instead of the supplicant walking around the boundary, it would have been a trio of animals. It would have been a lamb, a sheep, a pig, a sheep, a pig, and a cow. And this has a specific term, but it's unnecessary because we aren't going to be doing this. The reason why we're not doing this is because instead of offering grain, and we've literally offered a slice of bread to the gods in this first rite, the ancient Romans would have offered the meat of these three animals for the security and for the purification of this field. And if the rite wasn't done to perfection, the ancient Romans would actually start the entire ritual again. Now, I'm not sure if that means that they would slaughter and sacrifice 3 more animals in their place. I have heard some issuing, or some things suggesting that, but those were for sacra publica, or public rites. For us, though, even though there might have been some mistakes, we atone for them, and that makes all the difference. To the ancient Romans, you were supposed to atone with wine, and sometimes we do that. But for other days, when we're feeling especially humble, we offer water, because water is fairly necessary, especially water for the growing of crops. Today, as I have said, I will be walking around the boundary, much in the way that these 3 animals would have done. And these 2 rites that you have just witnessed were rites derived from the works of Cato. They differ, of course, because we don't have the 3 animals, and actually it called, instead of ordering the supplicant to walk around the boundary, one of the workers of this farm, who went by the name Manius, would have walked around with the 3 animals. Instead, I shall be doing so. And the rituals differ from Cato's in a few other various ways, but those aren't necessary. Above all else, the next few slides of this video will be showing you instead me walking around the boundary of this new lucus, this new sacred grove, where the Tellus Agrarian Cooperative can now grow produce, though of course we've already started. So thank you very much for celebrating with us this Lucaria festival, this festival dedicated to this lucus and to the genius loci of this sacred grove. We hope that in the future you may come back again and witness this rite, and we especially are hopeful that this rite will find its way into the catalog of festivals that we celebrate here in the state of Sandus. Of course, we have the Armilustrium, we have the Regifugia, the Matronalia, but this festival is really dedicated to the Tellus Agrarian Cooperative. So, if you don't mind, it is a very hot day here in Kremlum Sandus province, and especially here at the Palace of State. And as I'm about to leave, so that I can walk around the boundary, I toast to the fortunate crops of the Tellus Agrarian Cooperative. Thank you. Gratias tibiago.